obviously a very, very big day, something that's been in the works for years now that we've kind of, the community here in Bowling Green has seen kind of build from the ground up. How does it feel to finally be able to announce this big project and crossing that finish line?
Well, it's a wonderful, historic day, not just for our athletic programs, but for our esports program, our marching band, and forensics, all sharing this spectacular, shiny new home. And what I'm most excited about is what this does to elevate WKU. We have now some of the best facilities in the nation for athletics. It's going to help recruit and attract folks to come compete with us. We obviously have the best speech and debate team in the nation. They now have a home that they deserve. An up-and-coming esports program that's winning nationally, and they now have a permanent home where they will be able to compete. And finally, the Big Red Marching Band, which has been practicing on intramural fields, track and field, on South Lawn, now has a permanent place indoors to be able to rehearse. This elevates our entire community, and so excited to see it come to fruition.
President Caboni, Todd talked a lot about Tim and Sarah Ford and how big they've been, not just in student-athlete success, but the success of this project. What do Tim and Sarah Ford mean to you, how they've been able to help this university make this a tremendous milestone today?
Well, Tim is a remarkable graduate of WKU. Sarah is an alumnus by choice, and we're really proud of all the work that they do with our young people. They are some of the most humble, caring, genuine, and generous people I've ever met in my career. But I will tell you, when we were at the bowl game at SMU, we took a side trip for practice to see their indoor practice facility. On the bus ride home back to the hotel, Tim leaned over and said, I don't know what we have to do, but we need to get one of these. And it was a long time in the making, but we certainly did it. A creative space, right? One that brings a lot of different things under a single roof. It was the only way that we could accomplish this. But what they all have in common is that they're all hyper-competitive. Forensics is an incredibly competitive activity, as is esports. And we expect the same competition levels from them that we do have our athletics team. So it's an exciting day, and Tim and Sarah Ford are just wonderful, wonderful contributors and supporters of our entire university.
Esports can be very niche, right? About half the people in the facility didn't even know WKU had an esports team, myself included. And do you think with this new facility, it will attract more people to join the esports team?
Folks don't know that we've been building this for about a decade. And one of the things we created was a new scholarship program that rewards excellence, competitive excellence in the games that we play. And depending upon how those players are rated, they can come here up to a full scholarship. So we have some of the best esports athletes in the nation. They now have a home where we can continue to both attract them and retain them. And to be honest, that facility, when you walk through it, is one of the finest esports venues in the entire country. This is going to put us on the map. Esports is a funny thing. It's not broadcast on CBS or ABC. It's broadcast on something called Twitch TV. Well, this facility actually has an academic component built into it. There is a studio and fiber optics that are going to allow them to produce and have commentary on live activities and live competition that will be streamed out to the national world via Twitch. But for me, it's the opportunity for us to have in sports administration, a concentration in esports. It's an ability to move across the street and think about how do we get broadcasting involved in this. So it's a great relationship between a competitive team activity and the academic mission of the university.
I wanted to ask an unrelated question about the state budget.
Yes.
The Senate version restores cuts to higher education. I'm sure you're pretty hopeful about that, but what would be the consequences?
Well, we're really hopeful that the Senate version passes. I'm thankful for my colleagues in the legislature and leadership, understanding the value of higher education to the Commonwealth, and more importantly, to growing and elevating our economy. The House version would be really challenging for the institution. We have done a great job remaining lean over the past decade, and making sure that we keep our expenses in line with our revenue. Taking 4.5% and then 7% of our revenue would be a really difficult place for us to be. But I'm optimistic, given the conversations I've been having in Frankfurt with leadership, that we're going to wind up in a good place for higher education.
How about this support, not just with community members, but also students that are going to be, involved in this building for years
You know, I marched as an undergraduate, and we didn't have any facility anywhere near this for marching band. And that's 270 students that are going to be in here 4 days a week in the fall semester. So you'd multiply that over a decade. That's 2,700 students, and then 50 years. I can't do math in my head, but that's thousands of young people just in band that get this experience. This is a first-class, wonderful place for them to come, to practice, to rehearse, and then to compete. Same thing with all of our football players, our baseball players, and all of the other sports that will use this. A few weeks ago when we had the ice storm, we had every one of our active teams in the space practicing because they couldn't in their facilities if they were outdoors. So softball got to come here and work before they went on their first road trip. That's invaluable to those students. And the last thing I will say, this says something about the caliber and quality of the WKU experience and our institution. This is a first-class facility. I will put this up against any indoor practice facility in the country, including autonomy for schools. And so we continue to invest, we continue to elevate, and for our young people, this is one of the best undergraduate experiences in the country.
What did the total cost of the facility end up being, and can you break down sort of the main funding sources where they came from?
Yeah, the majority of this was done with debt. I'm thankful for the donors that contributed, which was in the millions and millions of dollars. The total expense that we had permission to spend was $60 million. So that's not atypical that you get 10-15% in investment, and then we bounded out the rest over time. But when you look at the facility, what we got for our investment is tremendous, and that includes a brand new press box for the football stadium. So working hard, and I'm proud of the fact that we were able to do this without increasing the debt load or debt payments to the institution, because we had some debt that was falling off. This came on the books. We covered the increase for a couple of years with fundraising, and so it winds up being flat for us. So a really innovative way to think about how do you manage through that debt too.
That's it for me.
Awesome.